Homeschooling. Nobody wants to do it. It's like when you go to the pool and your kids are in there and they're like, come on, the water is great. But you know the water is cold. You don't even like to swim anyways. And you do not want to go in. But they keep begging you and asking you, come on, come on. Next thing you know, they're splashing you. They're splashing you. And quite frankly, it is getting a little hot, and you probably should go ahead and get in the pool. You're going to be sitting there all day anyways. And you just get to the point where you just got to do it. Yes, you have to homeschool, right? You don't have a choice. This is where we are now. You just got to do it. It's like jumping in a pool of cold water. You're just going to go and you're just going to cannonball into this. And it is going to be miserable. Let's just be honest for the first few bits of this, right? Just like when you get into that cold pool. But then what do? You start moving your body around in the water, right? And because you have to, you don't have any other choice. This is how you're going to stay afloat. And the more you move and the more you do in the water, the more you get used to it. And the more and more that you do with homeschooling and with working with your kids through these different challenges, the easier it's going to become, the better it's going to be. Just like when you're in that pool, the more you move around, the water gets warmer. And the next thing you know, it's not so bad anymore. And you're in the pool and you're playing with your kids and you're hanging out. And at the end of the day, when you're packing everything up, you take a minute and you realize, man, I wouldn't have had that awesome time with my kids if I didn't just jump in the pool.
The only thing that I know we haven't hit on is the spiritual aspect of it and what God can teach people during hard times.
I really cling to 2 Timothy 1:7, because I really do feel like as a homeschool parent, I have to be self-disciplined. I mean, there are days that I don't want to do it. And some days my best is 50%. Some days my best is 95.
Right there. So what you just said, that is important for every parent to understand, is that definition of excellence. We're not looking for perfection.
Yeah.
But your version of excellence on a day where you got 8 hours of solid sleep.
Yep.
And you are feeling healthy and energized, that version of excellent is going to look different from a day when you were up every 2 hours because your little kid was sick or your dog was sick and you're not feeling very good and it's a rainy day. That's a different you give your best that day too, but it looks different.
Your best might only be 50%, and that's okay. Give yourself grace. Here's something that I always think about as parents, as caregivers, and just as people. We all need to take this into consideration. We always talk about being kind humans, right? Being Christ-like. How often and apt are we to give kindness and grace to others? But how often do we give ourselves grace? And I struggle with that. And when we criticize ourselves, we're criticizing God's creation. And I tell that to my kids, but how many times did I need to tell that to myself and to remind myself on a daily basis? So when you wake up, your best that you're offering for your kids that day might only be 50%. That is okay. That's more than okay, because you know what? That's what God gave you that day to work with. Our family really relies on Jeremiah 29:11. We never know where we're going to be 1 year to the next. But what I do know, God keeps his promises, number one. And number two, Jeremiah 29:11. It talks about how he knows the plans that he has for us. They're plans to prosper us, not to harm us, to give us a hope and to give us a future. And I cling to that.